Every man wants to be respected, by women, by the world, by himself. But respect is never demanded, it is earned through presence, discipline, and restraint. In love, this truth becomes sharper. A woman may be drawn to your charm, but she will only stay for your boundaries. Because boundaries are not about control, they are about clarity. They show that you are not ruled by emotion, desire, or approval, but by principle. And when a man lives by principle, he becomes something rare in a restless world. A man who commands respect without ever asking for it. Welcome to the channel, Stoic Love Wisdom. This is where we will learn, explore, and share valuable lessons about love. In today's video, I will reveal to you 7 boundaries that make women respect men, a new perspective, helping you better understand the factors that determine a happy and sustainable relationship. Let's explore with me the secrets to building a strong and meaningful love. Before we start, find a quiet place, put on your headphones and relax. Let all your worries melt away, and let the messages in this video help you calm down and feel the most complete. Are you ready? Let's start now. Part 1, the emotional boundary, the man who rules himself. There is a kind of power that no one can give you, and no one can take away. It's not money. It's not status. It's the quiet strength of a man who rules himself. Most men lose respect, not because they're weak, but because they lose command over their emotions. They explode when life frustrates them. They collapse when love challenges them. They chase what they can't control, and in doing so, they hand over their inner peace, to a woman, to society, to anything louder than their own will. A woman respects a man who feels deeply but reacts slowly. She can sense when his emotions are under command, not suppression, when his fire burns inward, not outward. This kind of man doesn't pretend to be cold, he just refuses to be controlled by heat. The Stoics taught this long ago: no man is free who is not master of himself. Marcus Aurelius wrote that our anger, fear, jealousy, they're not enemies, but invitations to practice strength. You can't avoid emotion, but you can choose not to become its slave. When a man lives by this principle, he becomes emotionally sovereign. He can listen to harsh words without losing balance. He can experience rejection without resentment. He can love without becoming desperate. His calm presence becomes magnetic, because calmness is rare, and rarity commands value. To build this boundary, you must practice 3 disciplines. 1. Pause before you react. Most conflicts begin not with what happens, but with what we do next. A Stoic man pauses. He lets the first wave of emotion wash over him, but he doesn't move. He breathes. He observes. In that pause, he regains power. A man who can pause, even for 5 seconds before he speaks, already stands above most of the world. 2. Detach from outcome. Emotional chaos often comes from attachment, wanting things to go your way. You want her to respond. You want her to understand. You want life to reward you. But Stoicism whispers, you control your actions, not results. Do your best, stay honest, and let the world move as it must. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. 3. Transmute emotion into action. Anger can destroy you or drive you. Love can weaken you or deepen you. The difference lies in direction. A Stoic man doesn't suppress emotion, he transforms it. He channels heartbreak into discipline. He converts frustration into focus. He uses pain as raw material for progress. When a woman sees this, something changes in her. She may not describe it in words, but she feels it: safety, respect, and mystery. She knows this is a man who cannot be broken by her moods or the world's chaos. He doesn't need to dominate anyone, because he already dominates himself. Remember this. Emotional control is not about being emotionless. It's about being anchored. Like the sea, you can rage, you can crash, but beneath it all, your core stays still. A man who rules himself commands silent respect. And that respect, from women, from others, from life, begins when he stops chasing control out there and starts mastering it in here. Part 2, The Boundary of Self-Respect, the line you do not cross for love. Every man must know where he ends and where the world begins. Without that line, love becomes surrender, not of the heart, but of the soul. You see, the modern man often mistakes devotion for disappearance. He thinks that giving everything to a woman will make her love him more. But in truth, what a woman respects is not the man who gives her the world. It's the man who refuses to give up himself. A Stoic man knows that love is not about merging into someone else. It's about standing beside them, whole, grounded, and complete. He can share his world, but he never abandons his foundation. There's a quiet tragedy in how many men lose themselves in love. They silence their boundaries, abandon their routines, and shrink their ambitions, all in the name of affection. They say yes when they should say no. They chase when they should step back. They beg when they should breathe. And little by little, the respect they crave begins to vanish. Because a man without self-respect cannot be respected, not by a woman, not by anyone. The Stoics called this self-sovereignty. Epictetus taught, if you wish to be loved, love yourself first. That doesn't mean vanity, it means integrity. It means knowing your own values and refusing to betray them for approval. A Stoic man doesn't need to prove his worth by sacrifice. He doesn't trade his boundaries for affection. He gives from abundance, not desperation. When he says no, it is not anger, it is dignity. When he walks away, it is not coldness, it is clarity. To live this boundary, you must practice 3 disciplines. 1. Never negotiate your core. There are parts of you that are sacred, your principles, your peace, your purpose. Once you give those away to please someone, you lose the ground you stand on. No relationship is worth that cost. A woman may test your boundaries, not because she wants you to break them, but to see if they're real. Hold firm. She will respect you more for it. 2. Give without losing yourself. True love isn't self-erasure. You can be caring without being controlled. You can support without being submissive. You can love fiercely and still say, this is who I am, and this is what I will not become. That balance, devotion with backbone, is where real attraction lives. 3. Walk away when respect ends. A man's greatest power is the ability to walk away with peace. Not in bitterness, not in pride, but in alignment with his own worth. When you stop begging for what disrespects you, life starts giving you what honors you. A woman might adore your affection, but she will admire your boundaries. Because boundaries show strength, and strength creates respect. When she feels that you won't lose yourself to keep her, she relaxes. She trusts you, because she senses you don't need to be rescued. You are whole already. Remember. A man's self-respect is not arrogance, it's self-mastery. You cannot protect a woman if you cannot protect your own essence. There's a line every man must draw, not against love, but for love. A line that says, I will meet you with all my heart, but I will not abandon my soul. Cross that line, and you lose yourself. Keep it, and you become the kind of man whose presence demands quiet respect. Love is not always about brilliant moments, but often about patience, listening and accompanying in every small step. It is those simple things that nurture a lasting bond. That is also the reason why I believe that every experience in love is an opportunity for us to grow and become stronger. If you feel this, please click like as a way to spread positivity to more people. And if this is your first time visiting our channel, click subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any lessons. I also look forward to hearing your thoughts. What is the smallest but most meaningful thing you have ever realized in love? Leave a comment below, maybe your answer will become a source of inspiration for others. Now, let's continue our journey to explore deeper perspectives right away. Part 3, The Boundary of Communication. Speak with truth, not noise. Words reveal the weight of a man. They show whether he speaks from stillness or from chaos. Whether his voice carries meaning, or merely makes sound. In a world addicted to noise, a Stoic man speaks less, but with purpose. He doesn't argue to prove he's right. He speaks to reveal truth. He doesn't raise his voice to dominate, he uses silence to command presence. Because true power doesn't need volume, it needs clarity. Every man eventually learns this. The way you speak determines how people treat you. If your words are careless, your worth becomes negotiable. If your emotions spill into every sentence, your authority dissolves. But when your words are measured, rooted, and sincere, you become a voice that people lean toward, not talk over. A woman respects a man whose speech reflects inner order. When he listens before responding. When he refuses to gossip, mock, or manipulate. When he says what he means, and means what he says. She feels safety in that steadiness. Because it's rare. The Stoics taught that speech should serve reason, not impulse. Epictetus warned, "Let silence be your general rule, or say only what is necessary." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it's not true, don't say it. If it's not useful, don't repeat it." This wasn't a lesson in restraint, it was a lesson in respect. For others, yes, but more importantly, for yourself. A man's mouth is a reflection of his mind. If his words are scattered, it means his thoughts are untrained. If his tone is harsh, it means his heart is unsettled. But if his speech is calm, honest, and intentional, then his presence becomes rare currency. To master the boundary of communication, you must practice 3 disciplines. 1. Listen with the intent to understand. Most people listen to reply. A Stoic man listens to see. He observes not just the words, but the energy beneath them. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't rush. His stillness gives the other person room to reveal their truth. And that stillness earns silent respect. 2. Speak only from alignment. Don't speak to impress. Speak to express. Before you speak, ask yourself. Is this true? Is this kind? Is this necessary? You'll find that most things don't need to be said, and what remains, matters. When you speak less but mean more, your voice gains gravity. Your words stop being air, they become stone. 3. Refuse to engage in chaos. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every insult deserves your reply. When provoked, the untrained man reacts, the disciplined man chooses silence. Silence isn't weakness, it's a weapon. Because silence makes the foolish reveal themselves. When a woman sees a man who communicates with grace and clarity, she feels something rare, security. Not because he's loud, but because he's consistent. She knows he won't speak in anger and regret later. She knows his promises aren't just words, they're reflections of his inner code. A Stoic man doesn't need to win arguments, he wins respect. He doesn't dominate conversations, he directs them. He knows when to speak and when to stop. And that balance creates presence. Remember this. The boundary of communication isn't about silence, it's about precision. Your words are a mirror of your mind, your tone a window into your soul. Guard them well. Speak when it adds value. Be silent when it adds peace. And let your communication reflect not the noise of emotion, but the calm authority of a man who has mastered himself. Part 4, The Boundary of Purpose and Time, a man anchored in his direction. A man's time is his life measured in motion. How he spends it reveals what he serves, discipline or distraction, purpose or pleasure. Most men don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they scatter themselves across everything that doesn't matter. They give their attention to every message, every emotion, every woman, every noise. And in doing so, they lose the quiet compass that should guide them. A Stoic man guards his time like a fortress. He understands that to waste time is to betray purpose. And to betray purpose is to betray himself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And Seneca warned, "If you value your time, you will be valued by others." Women sense this truth instinctively. They are drawn not to the man who is busy, but to the man who is directed. The one whose actions follow a north star. The one whose life has rhythm, not randomness. Because such a man doesn't just exist, he moves with intention. In love, the boundary of purpose separates dependence from dignity. When a man loses his focus for the sake of romance, he doesn't win her heart, he loses her respect. A woman admires a man who makes time for her, but she reveres the man who still protects his mission. Because she knows, if he can't stay loyal to his own vision, he won't stay loyal to anything else. A Stoic man loves deeply, but he never abandons his work, his growth, his calling. He knows that purpose is not a distraction from love, it is what gives love direction. He doesn't need constant validation, because his fulfillment doesn't depend on attention. He finds peace in progress, not applause. To guard this boundary, practice 3 disciplines. 1. Protect your morning and evening. The day belongs to whoever owns its edges. If you wake reacting to messages, scrolling through noise, or chasing attention, you've already lost the war before sunrise. A Stoic man begins and ends his day in silence, reflection, or creation. He chooses what enters his mind. Because the mind is a garden, and time is the soil. What you plant grows. 2. Say no with grace. Every yes to distraction is a no to destiny. Not every opportunity is for you. Not every request deserves your energy. The Stoic man doesn't fear missing out, he fears misalignment. He says no with calm confidence, not arrogance. Because his direction is clear, and his time is sacred. 3. Live by principle, not impulse. A man ruled by emotion chases comfort. A man ruled by purpose chases growth. The first seeks escape, the second seeks expansion. A Stoic man asks, will this serve who I'm becoming? If not, he lets it go. He doesn't rush, he moves deliberately. He doesn't drift, he decides. A woman feels the gravity of a man who values his time. His focus speaks louder than any promise. His discipline becomes desire, because it shows that he belongs first to something higher than pleasure. And paradoxically, that's what makes him irresistible. He is not possessed by anyone or anything. He belongs to his mission, and his mission defines him. Remember this. Time is the one currency you can never earn back. Guard it with the same vigilance you would guard your heart. Because the man who controls his time controls his destiny. And the man who controls his destiny commands respect without asking for it. Be the man who wakes with purpose, works with focus, and rests with peace. Because when your direction is clear, the world, and the right woman, will naturally align with your path. Love is a great lesson in maturity. It challenges us with fragility, teaches us patience through waiting, and gives us strength after being hurt. Here, I don't just tell stories for you to listen to, but for you to reflect on yourself and find your own lessons. If you find it valuable, please click like and subscribe, so you don't miss out on the shares that can change the way you look at love. Now, get ready with me, because the rest will have a lot more depth waiting for you. Part 5, The Boundary of Giving, Love Without Losing Yourself. There is a difference between loving and dissolving. Between giving and disappearing. Many men confuse the two. They pour until they are empty, thinking devotion means depletion. But true love does not demand self-erasure, it demands self-possession. A Stoic man understands that love is not measured by how much he gives away, but by how deeply he can give without losing who he is. Because when you give from emptiness, it's not generosity, it's need. And when you give from fear, it's not love, it's a transaction. The modern world romanticizes self-sacrifice. Do anything for her, they say. Prove your love. But the Stoic man knows, love that must be proven has already lost its purity. Real love does not require evidence, it recognizes presence. It flows naturally from strength, not desperation. Epictetus taught, he who depends on another's affection for his peace has surrendered his freedom. The moment your happiness depends on how much love you receive, you have already lost the ability to give it fully. Because only a free man can love freely. A Stoic man gives, but with awareness. He gives time, attention, affection, but never his identity. He gives from overflow, not from scarcity. He understands that his first responsibility is to remain whole. For only a whole man can offer love that heals instead of drains. A woman feels this. She feels when a man gives from centeredness, calm, confident, deliberate. And she feels when he gives from fear, anxious, needy, reactive. One earns her admiration. The other exhausts her spirit. To master this boundary, you must practice 3 disciplines. 1. Give from strength, not from lack. Ask yourself before giving, am I doing this because it's right, or because I'm afraid to lose her? If it's fear, pause. If it's love aligned with your values, proceed. When your giving is rooted in integrity, not insecurity, your actions carry quiet power. You give without expectation, and that makes your love rare. 2. Keep space for yourself. A man who never sits with himself eventually forgets who he is. Take time to retreat, reflect, recharge. Your solitude is not selfish, it's sacred. Seneca wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." If you are constantly available, constantly giving, your presence loses weight. But when you honor your own space, your return becomes meaningful. 3. Know when to stop pouring. There comes a point when giving turns into enabling. When love becomes rescue. A Stoic man knows when to stop, not out of coldness, but out of wisdom. You cannot save someone by losing yourself. Sometimes, the most loving act is to step back and let life teach what you cannot. A woman will always test a man's boundaries of giving, not out of malice, but to feel if they're real. If you fold easily, she feels instability. If you give endlessly, she feels burdened. But when you give with discernment, with balance, she feels respect. She knows she's with a man whose love is intentional, not impulsive. Remember this. Love is not about merging into someone else. It's about walking side by side, whole, awake, and free. When you give too much, you teach her that your energy has no limits. When you give wisely, you teach her that your love has depth. Be generous, but not self-destructive. Be loving, but not lost. Give from fullness, and let your love be a reflection of your discipline, not your dependence. Because the man who loves without losing himself is the man a woman will never want to lose. Part 6, The Boundary of Trust and Honesty, Truth as the Foundation of Respect. Truth is not a weapon. It is a mirror, and only the courageous dare to hold it up. A man's strength is not measured by his muscles or his money, but by his relationship with truth. Can he face it? Can he speak it, even when it costs him comfort, attention, or affection? Most men want peace more than truth. They tell half-truths to avoid conflict, say what's pleasing to avoid rejection. But every time you hide behind convenience, you carve away a piece of your own integrity. And when integrity dies, respect dies with it. A Stoic man walks a harder path. He values truth over comfort, clarity over charm. He knows that trust cannot survive the smallest lie, not from others, not from himself. So he keeps his words clean, his intentions transparent, his promises sacred. Because truth, once broken, is like shattered glass. You may gather the pieces, but the reflection never looks the same. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simplicity is rare today. But it is precisely this rarity that makes it powerful. A man who speaks truth with calm conviction becomes untouchable, because his word becomes his world. Honesty is not brutality. A Stoic man doesn't use truth to wound, he uses it to align. He speaks with firmness, not aggression, with precision, not ego. He knows that truth without compassion is cruelty. And compassion without truth is illusion. He balances both, because that's what a real man does. To live this boundary, practice 3 disciplines. 1. Tell the truth, especially when it's hard. It's easy to be honest when there's nothing to lose. But real character is revealed when truth risks comfort. When you speak your truth, kindly, clearly, without malice, you reclaim power. You stop playing roles. You stop fearing outcomes. You start living in alignment with yourself. And alignment is peace. 2. Be transparent in intention. Hidden motives breed confusion and mistrust. A Stoic man states his intentions directly. With women, with work, with himself. He doesn't flirt with half-commitments or gray zones. He defines what he wants and stands behind it. This clarity earns respect, even from those who disagree with him. 3. Keep promises or keep silent. Every broken promise weakens your word. Every empty, "I'll try," dilutes your authority. A man of discipline speaks only what he intends to do, and then he does it. If he cannot deliver, he stays silent. Because silence is better than false assurance. In a world full of noise, his reliability becomes rare currency. When a woman meets a man who lives by this code, something shifts in her. She may test him, but she will trust him. She may question him, but she will not doubt his essence. Because truth anchors respect, and respect sustains attraction. She doesn't want perfection, she wants certainty. She wants to know that when he speaks, his words are real. That when he promises, his actions will follow. That she can stand beside him, not because he's flawless, but because he's honest. Remember this. Truth will sometimes cost you affection, comfort, even relationships. But it will always buy you freedom. And freedom is the soil where respect grows. The Stoic man doesn't chase being liked. He chooses to be trusted. Because love without trust is illusion. But trust built on truth, that is indestructible. Part 7, The Boundary of Self-Value, the man who knows he is enough. Every man spends part of his life chasing something: approval, admiration, attention, validation. He works harder, buys more, achieves more, hoping to finally feel like he matters. But the more he chases worth, the further it drifts. Because value, like peace, cannot be hunted. It must be realized. A Stoic man understands this. He knows that self-worth is not a reward, it's a recognition. It's not given by the world or by women. It is something he discovers in silence, when he stops performing and simply is. A man who knows his value moves differently. He doesn't over-explain. He doesn't chase after attention or validation. He doesn't try to prove his goodness through sacrifice or status. He simply stands, calm, grounded, steady. He knows his presence is enough, his energy is enough, his existence is enough. Seneca once wrote, "He who values himself at a low rate will be valued accordingly." The world mirrors back the price you put on your own soul. When you discount yourself for acceptance, others follow your lead. But when you carry yourself with quiet assurance, when your words, actions, and choices reflect self-respect, people respond with reverence, not pity. This boundary is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. Arrogance screams, "I'm better than you." Self-value whispers, "I don't need to compete." One seeks validation, the other radiates peace. The Stoic man's confidence doesn't come from comparison, it comes from consistency. He earns his own respect through discipline, honesty, and mastery of self. He doesn't need to be celebrated to feel worthy, his worth is anchored in who he has become. To live this boundary, practice 3 disciplines. 1. Detach your value from outcome. Success doesn't define you. Failure doesn't diminish you. You are not your wins, your losses, or your possessions. You are your principles, how you act when no one watches, how you rise when life tests you. A Stoic man plays to grow, not to prove. He knows that everything external, wealth, fame, affection, can be taken. But inner worth cannot. 2. Refuse to compete for love. When you try to earn love, you lose it. Because love is not something you qualify for, it's something you attract by authenticity. A Stoic man doesn't perform. He doesn't chase someone's attention by changing who he is. He remains honest, imperfect, real. He understands that if love requires him to become less of himself, it isn't love, it's dependency. 3. Anchor in stillness. Solitude is where self-value is forged. Most men fear being alone because silence confronts them with themselves. But the Stoic man embraces it. In solitude, he remembers his essence. He learns that he doesn't need noise, approval, or affection to feel alive. He becomes whole in his own company, and from that wholeness, he meets the world. When a woman meets a man who knows his worth, something shifts. She can feel that he doesn't need her to fill a void. He doesn't grasp. He doesn't chase. He invites connection, but never at the cost of his center. This balance, this peace, is magnetic. Because a man who is whole within himself offers something rare, stability. Remember this. You don't find your value in being chosen, you find it in choosing yourself. You don't earn respect by demanding it, you embody it through discipline. And you don't need to prove your worth, you need to live it. A Stoic man doesn't seek to be more than others. He seeks to be more of himself. That's the man who commands quiet respect, lasting peace, and genuine love. Because he finally understands the simplest, hardest truth of all. He was enough all along. Conclusion: the art of self-mastery in love. In the end, everything returns to one truth. A man cannot lead, protect, or love, until he first learns to rule himself. The Stoic man does not seek control over others, he seeks command over his inner world. He builds his life upon unshakable boundaries, not as walls to keep love out, but as foundations strong enough to let love in without losing himself. Each boundary is a reflection of self-respect. Emotional control, integrity, communication, purpose, discernment, honesty, and self-value. Together, they form the architecture of masculine peace, the quiet strength that women respect, and the world cannot break. In love, the Stoic man gives fully but never blindly. He feels deeply but reacts wisely. He speaks truth, walks with purpose, and stands firm even when affection tests his edges. He is not perfect, but he is present. And presence, anchored in self-mastery, is what makes him rare. Respect does not come from domination, wealth, or charm. It flows naturally from inner order, from a man whose boundaries are shaped not by fear, but by the calm understanding of who he is and what he stands for. The Stoic man does not chase love to complete himself. He becomes complete, and love follows. Because when a man learns to master himself, he no longer seeks validation in the eyes of others. He becomes his own source of peace. And from that peace, everything else, love, respect, and meaning, finally begins to flow. So today's video has ended. Thank you for taking the time to watch it all. I hope you have learned valuable lessons and these shares will help you on your love journey. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive more interesting content in the future. I'm very grateful for your support and see you again in the next videos. Wishing you all love and happiness.